Welcome to the historic HockenheimRing for the third round of the FIA and FIM European Drag Racing Championships. So 2 days of racing ahead. I'll be needing a pair of these, no doubt. Plus a spectacular night show. But first, let's take a look at the winners last time out in Finland with Daryl Bradford.
On two wheels, Fredrik Friedland took Pro Stock honours. Christian Jaeger was unbeatable in Super Twin, and Ian King nailed it once again in Top Fuel. Here's the way the points look for all three bike classes, and so far the season is looking kindly on most of the defending champions. Ronnie Orson is the exception to that rule, a no-show for his semi-final, leaving him mid-table arriving here, but it's still very close all round. The car classes were just as hard to call. Matthias Falken ran hard and straight for the Pro Modified win. Michael Malmgren took a surprise win over Jimmy Orland in Pro Stock. Johan Lindberg crushed the opposition in Methanol Funny Car. And the Methanol Dragster win went to Monty Bugaya in an all-Maltese final. And the top fuelers, the kings of the sport, Stig Nergaard, finally claimed the big prize in the last run of the day. A quick look at the standings for all those classes and you can read the headlines yourself. That win puts Matthias Falken at the top of Pro Modified, but you can't rule out Mickey Gallquist yet, and Michael Malmgren better not rule out Jimmy Orland in Pro Stock. Johan Lindberg looks like the man with a clear lead in Methanol Funny Car, but Monty Bugaya has a smaller lead in Methanol Dragster, while Top Fuel looks like another two-way fight until you see Thomas Nators is not that far behind.
So a brilliant weekend of action in Finland, Daryl. Are we going to see more of the same here?
Do you know, potentially it has the makings of the same kind of event as well. We've got a fresh racetrack here like we had in Finland. So in Top Fuel, Stig Nergaard took his first win. Just a great weekend for that team. Let's see what they can do here at Hockenheim as well. Top Methanol Dragster, return of the Harbourmans. They were real fast at Santa Pod. Again, should be fast on their home track too. Top Methanol Funny Car, Johan Lindberg is quite away in the lead in the championship at the moment. That should be very interesting. Moving on to the door cars, Pro Mod, Matthias Falken out in front earlier in the season. That could be bad news for Mickey Gallquist and the rest of the gang. And in FIA Pro Stock, for the first time in years, Michael Malmgren took his first win in a long while in Finland. So it's still going to be very exciting for all the German fans here this weekend.
Really looking forward to seeing all the action in the cars. But Pippi, tell us, you're the expert on the bikes, tell us what we've got in store for us.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting weekend. It's a fresh track, and we know that Ian King is the master of those tracks. He's currently the track record holder here, and I expect a lot from him. The Pro Stock bike is obviously Fredrik Friedland against John Lazar doing, fighting it out between the number 1 and 2. But the cool thing in Pro Stock is that we have 3 new riders who's never run an FIM event before. And obviously in the Super Twin, Super Twin Top Fuel bike, what can you say? We have Sami Keppinen and we have Christian Jaeger, who's fighting it out 1 and 2, but you can never, count out Ronnie Orson. I expect those guys to bring that bike into 6.4s easily before the weekend is over. We'll see.
Really looking forward to it. Well, whatever your thing is, bikes, cars, let's get racing underway.
Well, first up, we're going to take a look at qualifying action in Pro Stock bike. That's Fredrik Friedland doing his traditional prayer by the looks of it before a run. I've been qualifying against Gert-Jan Lesueur, but it was Freddie who took the number 1 spot with an absolutely great 7.13. That was hard to do in the heat in Germany this weekend.
Freddie, not really a surprise. You've qualified top. How was it out there?
Actually, it's quite slippery, but the track is not there. But we managed to go down the track and managed to be number 1 qualifier, and we are pleased with that.
As a rider, how do you cope with those tricky kind of track conditions?
Yeah, it starts all over back to the crew. They need to make the adjustment, the right adjustments, and then we need to make the right decisions. And then also as me as a rider, and I need to be aware of the track condition. If you can spin the tire when I pop the clutch in the start, and you can drift and those things. So it can be really pretty scary sometimes, but you need to be focused and do what you're supposed to do, drive the bike.
Well, your Super Twin bike points leader, that's Christian Jaeger there. doing a burnout in front of the home crowd. Ended up #1 again this weekend. We're going to see his absolutely fantastic #1 qualifying time here. He's up against Samu. These two are going to be rivals for the championship this year by the looks of it. Although I'm sure Ronnie Olsen's got something to say about that. Fantastic run for Christian, carrying the wheel a few hundred foot out, and that view at the far end is spectacular.
I think for this weekend we found a good setup for the track, and everything is perfect, crew is perfect, and weather is perfect. That's it.
You've got a great team. They're working very hard behind you. I can see lovely bike.
Yeah.
Is it because of them?
Yeah. Everybody knows what to do, and that's a secret. And it's a very good thing with the guys.
What's it like racing at HockenheimRing?
For us, it's a biggest race. It's a home race, and yeah, it's my favorite event in the year and the important event in the year for me and for my sponsors.
On to Top Fuel bike, and no surprise here at all. Ian King, the Gulf Oil Racing team, having a fantastic weekend here at the HockenheimRing as well. For this run in, and the team tried to step it out. They smoked the tyre, but he still held it all the way through on that run. You see from the top end just how much he fights the bike all the way down. He went to #1 with a 6:24, 370 knot.
Well, Ian's qualified to the top, as usually, and the championships go really well.
Yeah, we've had a good year this year, so this is just sort of starting to come around at the end of the year properly. Breaking new records here was quite an achievement.
Why are you breaking records? You've been posting some really fast times this weekend.
Well, I mean, the thing is we have quite a high degree of control. We have a lot of experience with our setups. So basically we're able to take out ignition where we want to, which lowers the power. So we can actually apply the power correctly in the right parts of the track. It's a very tricky track, but you know, you can get down it.
So I am here with Freddie, who's 3-time European champion in Pro Stock, and that's the main manufacturer's class in drag racing. Freddie's going to talk me through the bike, but this doesn't resemble any ordinary bike I know. I've got a 600cc road bike, and it doesn't look like that at all. Tell us about this bike, Freddie.
We have a chrome moly chassis, special made for this bike. We have a normal aspirated engine. Carbs that you have on a normal bike, of course.
Yeah, but they don't point towards you.
No, we have a bodywork on top of it.
Do you get very hot?
No.
No?
No. So after we made a pass, we have an onboard computer who is sampling information. For example, we have for the exhaust temperature, the air and fuel mixture. We have also how much clutch slip we have, how much wheel speed we have. Engine RPM. So if I come back to the pit and I say I shift on the shift light, my crew chief say no, you didn't shift on your shift light.
So they basically know everything that you're up to. They know your good riding and your bad riding.
Yeah, I can't lie. To say.
You're going to start it up for us?
Yeah, we're going to heat up the bike now, so you're going to see a normal preparation for one run. So what we have then, we have a computer. They have a switch here. It says race back on. Turn on that button that activates this computer, and now we need to go around here to the laptop. Here we have a bar. We have all the cylinders at number 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's the exhaust temperature. Yeah. We're gonna start it up and see if it's idling, and all the carbs are synchronized. So what we will do now, we're gonna start the bike up. Well, actually, you're going to start the bike up.
I'm going to start it up. I'm actually quite scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
It's no problem.
Just because they're so noisy.
It will not bite you.
Yeah, John is very close to personal best again. See if we can get here.
So what I want you to do now,
okay.
When need to make sure it's in neutral. When I push this button and the engine starts running, you're going to move this switch to your side.
Right, okay. That's all I have to do?
That's all you have to do, yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
what we do now, we turn off the race pack, disconnect this one, the cable. We're gonna make the adjustment. We're gonna take, we're gonna measure the air density, the air temperature, everything. And from that, we change the fuels. We have small jets here in the carbs that we fine-tune the fuel, because you can very easily missing on the tune, so you're gonna drop like a tenth of a second or 500ths of a second down the track.
So before you ride, when you get up in the morning, you have to go out to the track?
Yes.
Go and check it and make the adjustments?
Yeah, we go there. I was walking both lanes in the morning, up and down, and see which lane we're gonna go. And from that information, also from the weather station that we have, we make the adjustment, and hopefully we can run quick down the track. But that we only knows after the run if we make a good decision or not.
Okay, well, good luck today.
Thank you so much.
Lovely bike. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're at the HockenheimRing. Tell us what it means to you to race here.
Hockenheim is always a special event in the series because it's a very different track as we are used to. There are always a huge amount of people over here, and that's something special that you don't see almost anywhere in the world. Zandvoort is one of them, Hockenheim is the other one, but I don't think there are many places where so many spectators come to look at drag racing.
Tell me why you race these bikes, Super Twins.
Not only for me, it's for the whole family. The whole family is here. That's the basic of it. If the whole family doesn't want to go with me, that's I stop right away, because it's not only for me the racing. It's not that I have to be on the bike and I have to be on the track and I have to be. No, we do it all together, and everybody is in the team is first in the team because we want to have good racing. Difficult to understand, but we can have very good racing without winning. If the bike does what we want, if the bike is okay, if the racing is okay, if we have a nice side-by-side race that we lost, it's good racing for us. We are satisfied. It's, you know, it's not only for the winning. We are here for more than only winning the race. We do want to win the race. We do everything to win the race, but that's not the only thing. There's more. The good thing is because they always go with me, they know what it is and they know what it brings, and they know all the good things, but also the worst things. You know, if you go all the way to Norway and you sit in the rain for 3 or 4 days, it's not funny. But they know how it is. They have done it for so many years. They're used to it, more or less. So that's never a problem. And even if we are sitting in the rain for 3 or 4 days, we still have a good time.
Onto four wheels in the hotly contested FIA Pro Mod class. Max Ericsson, you can still see the scars from the accident at round one back at Santa Pod at the start of the season. We call it a one-eyed goblin these days, basically, because that's what it is. But Max and the team really got a handle on the racetrack in the end, went to #1 with a 6:32.
#1 qualifier, must feel good.
Yeah, it's feel really good actually, because we didn't qualify because we thought there was an 8-car field before this last qualifying session, and the car didn't start the 2 times before, so it was a little upset just now, so we must fix it for this. We thought we should fix it to be in the field, but we had exactly the same adjustments that we had the first session yesterday, because the track is real tricky, and we must take away so much power and so much clutch to get to the finish line. So I think this was on the limit, exactly on the limit. So a little luck, we was a little lucky there, but we are so happy what happened.
As with some of the other classes, no big surprise in top methanol funny car. The class of the field so far this year has been Johan and his brother Johnny Lindberg. You see Johnny giving Johan the signal to start the burnout. Warming up the tyres on what was a very warm weekend anyway. Now, Johan won in Finland fairly easily, to be honest with you. He's got a little bit more competition this weekend. It's great to see in the other lane Danny Bellio back with us. And this is Johan Lindberg's #1 qualifying run. Very soft launch off the line, but the power comes in down the racetrack. Danny didn't have a great time in qualifying at all. Johan Lindberg did. Went to #1 with a 5.95, and he led the rest by some margin.
#1 again, Johan. How did you do it?
Well, that team has done a very good job with the car. Johnny is a very good tuner to manage, even on this track, to go a 5-second pass. So that's very good.
Well, a number of the dragsters were deep in the fives. We said at the top of the show, the Harberman brothers were back this weekend for their home race, and it was Dennis who ended up #1. Dennis is on the far side of the racetrack running alongside Chris Polidano. He went 5:55.
Yeah, we had some problems yesterday with my car, so we got some judge problems, and second run we had ignition problems. But yeah, today was another day, so I think we made it really good. Timo was qualified #1 yesterday. Then last one, Peter Schöffer made it with a 5:50.56 in front of Timo. So I had to make my best. So I did it. But the best is that the #1 qualifier is in the Werner Harberman Racing team. So it doesn't matter who.
Well, on to the kings of the sport. And the reason this event is named the NitrOlympx Top Fuel Dragster. Far side of the racetrack, Thomas Nator's near side, Duncan Micallef here in qualifying. This was when the Andersons were really going for it. Thomas got about that far before smoking the tyres, but did end up #1, most importantly for him and the team, with a 4:51.
Thomas, a really nice clean run down the racetrack to go to #1 on a very tough racetrack.
Yeah, it was hard to get down the tricky track, and here in Karsten is doing a great job tuning the car, and we got our small tricks to get down tricky tracks like this. Yesterday we had a good run as well, and this morning not so good, but now we're back in form for tomorrow, so that's good.
So Noah, this is your first season in Top Fuel. We spoke to you at Santapod. How's it been going?
It was really good. We was in Alestaro. I qualified with 3 times pedaling, and I love to drive it. And then first round I had Thomas Natas, and yeah, it was close, but I didn't get it to win. So now it's Hockenheim, so I hope I can do it this time.
And how does it feel being at your home track?
Wonderful. We have all the peoples here, our sponsors, our VIP guests. You can see it here. We have a really big area here, and no, it's just great to be here back, and we love the peoples here. The crowd is just great, so yeah, we hope we can show them something.
Talk us through this car, because you just mentioned pre-staging, staging at the lights. It looks easy, but I shouldn't imagine it is for one moment. I'm going to get in the car and you're going to show me what I would be doing at the lights, right? Not really dressed for this at all, so I'm going to have to take my shoes off. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think you can do it if you do.
Not in my racing driving attire, I can tell you. Okay, so let's have a look inside the car. Steering wheel, very small steering wheel for a very big car.
Yeah, we just can handle it millimeter-wise.
Yeah.
Because when you do it too much, you're just near the wall. Yeah.
So when it's actually going, when you've left the line, how much are you steering?
Every time, so we steer really every time. Last run I was sideways, so I need to put the steering wheel like this and hit the throttle again full, and then I went really good again.
Yeah.
Then I had the 5.1.
So you can correct yourself?
Yeah.
And if you oversteer, obviously?
Go off the throttle and hit it again, so the car goes straight. And if everything goes wrong and you feel that the car, you can't handle it, then you pull the chutes, and this will bring you again in a straight line.
Bring you back straight. Yeah, I mean, that's something that really shocks me, and it feels so light as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, so say I'm pre-staging right now.
You hold the clutch there.
Yeah.
Hold the brake.
Clutch is here.
The clutch is here, yeah.
This is the brake here.
This is the handbrake, yeah.
Yeah.
And then before you go into the stage, you hold the fuel pressure back.
Yeah.
So
this is the fuel pressure.
This is the fuel pressure, yeah.
Right, okay.
So that we have the maximum fuel flow.
Right.
And then you wait till your competitor comes in too.
Yeah.
And then you need to be focused. And when you see just a small thing comes off, you go.
Okay.
And then you let the throttle away, let the brake away, hit the throttle, and that's on the same time. So you drive with one hand. You have one hand here then. So you push this back, come back on the steering wheel, on the brake, and then the light comes on. You release the brake and hit the throttle.
Okay.
and then hit the chutes and on the finish line.
So Keith, you're a massive Top Fuel fan. Organising this must be an absolute dream for you.
A dream is the right word. Top Fuel is the Formula One class of the sport. To run them in front of 7,000 people, 70,000 people, fantastic.
70,000 people here at Hockenheim. It's a brilliant atmosphere. Tell me why it's so special to you.
Hey, it's a Formula One circuit with a really big name, so when you bring a championship here, whatever that motorsport championship is, it's a big circuit to come to. For drag racing, we're talking about American spectator numbers, and that's just so good for sponsors, spectators, and we also introduced Top Fuel to a whole new range of people, and 16,000 brake horsepower, it's unbelievable.
We really enjoyed the qualifying today, but we've got more in store tonight. Tell us what we've got to look forward to.
Tonight is a bit of a night show. Hockenheim is famous for the night show. Basically what happens here, you've got entertainment. You've got motorsport and entertainment all rolled into one. Fuel cars running at night, which is really special. Then you've got celebrities, bands, shows, jet cars, people on jetpacks going up in the sky. It's entertainment.
And I understand we've got an enormous firework display.
Huge. We kick into the firework display very quickly.
Okay, let's get the party started. Welcome back to a much quieter HockenheimRing, but that's about to change because we're going racing.
We join Pro Stock Bike at the semi-final stage. This is the UK's Martin Bishop up against, well, the big ask in Pro Stock Bike, Frederick Friedland, #1 on the bike from last year, and he's been #1 before that as well. So Fred was #1 qualifying. Martin had all sorts of trouble in qualifying with the Lucas Oil bike. Actually had a fire in the shutdown area. You never see that on a Pro Stock bike normally, but this is a heads-up race for a spot in the final. Also, Freddie can make a big move in the points here now, simply because his main rival, Gert-Jan Lesueur, red lit in round 1. So the most tense part of any drag race, away from the start line together, and you can see Fredrik Friedland's already got the lead by the time they go past the Christmas tree, and he takes the win convincingly there over Martin Bishop. See that in replay again, they both left pretty much evenly, but the power of the Play Amongst Friends bike from Holland stretched it out, and Fred's into the final with a 7:17. Now on the other side of the ladder, this is Germany's Karl-Heinz Weikum at his home race here in Hockenheim. Was due to be up against a French rider, Remy Morel. It's actually Remy's first ever event in FIM competition. He was up against Gert-Jan Nusseur, as I mentioned before, who red lit in round one, but sadly for Remy, his best day at the races ever was cut short because he had some kind of problem with the bike before this semi-final round. So your Pro Stock bike final will be Fredrik Friedland against Karl-Heinz Weikum. He gets a tune-up run here on the Hockenheim quarter mile. Leans right off the side of the bike, gets it going straight, and that final will be coming up soon. So on with the Super Twins, and this was the man that took the surprise win over the #1 qualifier and points leader Christian Jaeger in round one action. Christian was on a strong run, but unfortunately something in the driveline broke, and Roman Sixter, having his best day ever as a result of the odd lot field, he got a bye into the final as well. So he gets a tune-up run on the Hockenheim quarter mile. He's been down in the low 7s on this bike. Comes all the way from the Czech Republic to race with us. All around Europe he goes as well. He's been absolutely everywhere. So he gets a bye. Just nudges a big V-twin into stage. And cracks open the throttle on what looks like a really strong one. Carries the wheel for a good few hundred foot. Keeps the power on all the way through to another 7-second clocking. And into the final, where he will be racing this man, Samu Kampanen. Unfortunately, another bye run because Ronnie Orson, defending champ for the Super Twins, broke the bike, took the round one win, but unfortunately couldn't make the call for the semi-final. So Samu with a gift and a tune-up run to see what the racetrack will take. Strong launch for Samu, carries that front wheel, look at that, all the way down the racetrack, comes down with a nice puff of smoke, and he's into the final once again. Well, with his main championship rival out, Christian Jaeger, he's got a chance to really take a stranglehold on the championship. Look at that footage and that front wheel coming down, just unbelievable. Top Fuel Bike semi-finals here. #1 qualifier, Ian King, just basically blazed his way down the racetrack every single time. Did have one clocking over 250 miles an hour. This is very unusual to see a round one matchup with Ian up against Rikard Gustafsson. This has been traditionally the final. Rikard is normally one of the main contenders for the championship along with Ian, but for some strange reason Rikard Gustafsson couldn't quite get a hold of the Hockenheim quarter mile this weekend. So if Rikard can win this, he can make up some serious ground in the championship. But Ian King and the Gulffoil team have been on their usual dominant form so far. That was qualifying, this is eliminations. It doesn't matter what you did in qualifying when it comes to race day. So the Turbo Funny Bike in the near lane, that's Rikard Gustafsson, pulls into stage. Ian King with a quicker lead than Rikard. That should spell the end for the Funny Bike, and indeed it does. Ian hanging off the side of the bike, getting it to go straight, and he's into the final. We see this again in replay. That was actually a pretty good race all the way down. Never really any doubt, though, who the winner was going to be. Rikard did run a 6, though. He went 6-7, but Ian was just that far in front. On the other side of the ladder, fast Phil from Greece, Phil Papaphilippou with the Funny Bike. Should have been up against Otto Kniebel in this round one match, but unfortunately Otto had some problems in qualifying, and that was the end of his weekend. Otto, it's a shame for him as well, because he comes a long way to race, had a really good season so far, been down into the 6s on a number of occasions. But it is Fast Phil with a bye into the final, and it will be a Funny Bike versus Top Fuel Bike final as well. Bike drifting out to the left, expertly pulls it back into his lane, and he's in the final. Back to four wheels. FIA Pro Modified, David Vector with the MPM Oil Camaro. And on the other side of the racetrack is Mats Eriksson, our #1 qualifier in FIA Pro Mod. Just by virtue of the odd lot field and a bit of luck, Mats Eriksson actually had 2 bye-runs to get through to the semi. And on both of those runs, no problem whatsoever. Went straight down the racetrack. In round 2, he went 6:35. David Vector, though, with the Camaro, had a little bit of a tougher ask to get through to this semi-final race against Mats. And I know the MPM team have tried to step it up for this run. Now, this will be a berth in the final for one of these two, and it will be their first final of the year as well. Mats has got at least 1 FIA win. David Vector's got to the final a number of times, but never quite made it all the way through. They're both away side by side. Well, by now we'd expect to see Mats Eriksson pulling it out, but no, it is David Vector with a 6:44. Mats Eriksson falls off the pace the one time he actually needed to do it. You can see Dave's car moving all over the lane, but an expert job of keeping it in there, and he will be through to the final. That was actually a shock. Took out the #1 qualifier. So the other semi-final race will be an all-Swedish affair. That's your defending champ in the light blue car, Mickey Gulquist from Sweden. Really didn't have a good time of it at all in qualifying, but in round 1, no mistake whatsoever. That is why that man wears the #1 on the car. He went 6.30 for low ET of the weekend so far, and they obviously got the combination a little bit closer. He's up against the defending event champion here from the NitrOlympx 1 year back. That's Matthias Volken, and this is actually a rematch of that final round as well. That win was Matthias's first ever win in FIA competition, and Mickey Gulquist is going to be doing his very, very best to stop him this time round. So on elapsed time so far today, it's been Mickey G in the far lane, but never count out Matthias and his team. His crew chief really knows how to get down tricky racetracks. So if Matthias Volken can win this, he'll do himself a huge favour at the end of the season in the points. And if Mickey Gulquist wants to be in with a shout at the championship, he needs to win this race. But no, shakes the tyres off the line. Matthias Volken, no mistake whatsoever. Straight down that right-hand lane and into another final here in Germany. The team really, really happy with that one. You can see in slow motion, Mickey Gulquist, the tyres actually shake because the setting on the car isn't quite right. And Matthias Volken with a 650 cruises into another final round here in Germany. Top Methanol Funny Car up next, and one of the hometown crowd favourites. That is Jürgen Nagel up against your #1 qualifier, Johan Lindberg. Johnny and Johan, specifically his brother Johnny, has been away racing in the States, as well as obviously all the experience he's got racing at the tracks in Europe, really have paid dividends so far this season. The Lindberg brothers actually won the championship last year, but it was Johnny who's tuning the car this weekend that won the championship. Johan didn't have quite such a good season last year. This time round, it's all about one car, and it's all about Johan's car, and it's making a big, big difference. Jürgen Nagel didn't do too badly in qualifying. This car is capable of going in the 5s on pretty much any given day, but he's got a big ask to go up against the points leader at the moment. Now, Johnny and Johan got down the racetrack pretty much every time in the 5-second range during qualifying. They did try and step it up a couple of times, which didn't quite work out, but they do seem to have the measure of this Hockenheim quarter mile so far this weekend. That's his brother Johnny bringing him into stage. It must be strange for him, actually, normally sitting in the car doing the tuning and the driving. Gives his brother a bit of a G up, says go get him and let's take it to the final. So they bring the revs up to screaming pitch, dead even off the line. Actually a pretty even race up to this point, but it is Johan Lindberg out in front, and he goes to the final yet again. He's unbeaten so far this year. Jürgen Nagel did give him a pretty good race though. But Johann's going to be in the final with a 5.86, low ET of the weekend so far, just over 400 kilometres per hour. Well, his competition in the final will be Leif Andreasson, returning to the racetrack this weekend. Sat out most of this season so far, but been doing pretty well up to now in Germany. Leif was in the 5s along with Johann in qualifying. One of 3 cars in the 590s. The other was Gareth Ellis from the UK. Gareth and the team with a valiant effort, but unfortunately they didn't make it as far as the semis. So Leif has actually got a tune-up run here. Basically what he's done, set the car up to see what the racetrack will take. If it sticks, then he'll probably stay with that setup for the final round. If it doesn't, back to the drawing board and probably put the qualifying combination back in the car. That really is cool, that splatted wasp's eye view on the front of the car. Hopefully we'll see that again in just a moment, but let's see what Leif Andreasson can do. Well, no mistake at all, straight down the lane, no tyre shake, no tyre spin whatsoever, and Leif goes into the final with low elapsed time of the weekend. You see that again on board. He went 5.83 for lane choice in the final against that man, Johann Lundberg. Your number 1 qualifier, ball in the heights in the far lane, that's Dennis Habermann. And he's going up against the A-Fuel car in top methanol dragster of the Callants Racing team. Chris Polidano, tuned by the legendary Jerry Durian, and Jerry's actually on site this weekend helping the team out, pulling all sorts out of his box of tricks. The A-Fuelers have struggled this weekend on the Hockenheim quarter mile, but in round 1, Chris with a fantastic run, a whole shot win. Let's see if he can do that again up against Dennis. But Dennis in the first round went 5.45 for low ET of the weekend. I know Jerry and Chris and the team has stepped up, or tried to step up at least, as much as a racetrack can take. It's a very, very fine balancing act. You want to give it as much horsepower as possible, but not too much so you spin the tyres, because if you spin the tyres, you will be out of it. That's Dennis's dad, guiding him into stage. That's Werner, team principal, owner, tuner, just about everything on that team. So this replacing the final at the HockenheimRing. Well, Dennis is away and he's actually out in front, but can the big A-Fueler make up the difference? Indeed he can. Chris Polidano takes the win. Look at that, you can clearly see he's nearly a car length behind in that shot, but takes the win with a whole shot, 5.58 to 5.57. Bit of a shock for the home crowd, because everybody really did think Dennis was going to go all the way this weekend, especially with that great run that he made in round 1. Well, there's still another Werner Habermann racing car in eliminations, and that's his brother Timo. And he's alongside one of the wily old veterans of the sport. Peter Schurfer, great to see him back. First time in competition for a couple of years for the Bavarian Thunder team. Peter knows how to get it done. He's been European champion before. This car is a threat wherever he goes. Just unfortunately for us, we don't see him quite as much as we used to. Let's just hope this is the first of many appearances that the team are going to be making. Did really well in qualifying. Went to number 2, just a real tick behind Dennis. The crew scrubbing the tyres down just to get any maybe loose stuff off there before they go into stage. The tyres are nice and hot and sticky. Obviously the racetrack is definitely hot and sticky. So Werner guides his other boy into stage in the right-hand lane once again. Dennis went down the lane in a pretty good time, but unfortunately got beaten a whole shot. Let's see what Timo can do this time round. Well, dead even off the line. Timo spins the tyres off the start line. Little bit too much horsepower for that lane, and it will be, for the first time in a long, long while, Peter Schurfer and the Bavarian Thunder team going to a final. A real nice story with this as well. The supercharger on Timo's car, they broke in qualifying, and it was lent to them by the Bavarian Thunder team. Okay, back to the kings of the sport. FIA Top Fuel semi-finals coming up right now. Thomas Nators with the Batmobile, the Anderson Racing team from Denmark, Norway, Sweden. They're from all over the place, but they really, really are a great bunch of guys, and they know what they're doing when it comes to running a top fuel car. Going up against Noah Stutz. First ever season, full season in FIA Top Fuel Racing, and he beat the boss in round 1. It was a real surprise matchup. They qualified number 4 and 5 on the ladder, and they got each other in round 1. They went up there, raced for it, but both actually put the same tune-up in both cars, but it was Noah that prevailed over Urs. And talk about a tough day at the office. That's his first ever FIA round win. It was against the boss, who was a former European champ, and he gets the defending European champ in the semis. So this should be a pretty good race. Noah, his team, they've got so many people here because this is actually their home race. That's actually Thomas's eye view down the racetrack. I've done that and there's absolutely no view like it. It really, really is cool. So for a place in the final, Thomas, far side the racetrack, near side. Here's Noah. And just at the end there, you can see Noah pulling ahead. Something broke on Thomas's car just before the finish line. Once again, you can see it in replay. Noah's got cylinders out all over the place. And Thomas, I think the throttle linkage fell off. Noah just got past him at the top end. And you can see the team are about as happy as they possibly can be. That's going to be such a popular win. So his best day ever at the office in a top fuel car for Noah. 2 round wins in a row, 2 European champions taken out. Who will he race in the final? And this is the race to decide that. One of the surprises in round 1 was Duncan Micallef on the near side of the racetrack, driving Runefield's top fuel dragster. He took out the #1 man in points and the winner from Finland, Stig Nergård, in a great race. He also set low ET of the weekend so far as well. So the team on that car doing a great job up against Mickey Kagarad, who really, really likes this racetrack. He took his last ever top fuel win, or most recent, if you will, top fuel win here, but that was about 6 years ago now, would you believe? So he's definitely hungry for another one. Well, we're definitely going to have a first-time winner for the season, but will it be Mickey Kagarad or Duncan Micallef that takes on Noah? Well, Duncan was away first and with a quicker 60-foot time, but unfortunately spun the tyres. Mickey with a great job getting down the right-hand lane as well, and it will be one of the old stages of top fuel. Mickey Kagarad going up against Noah Stutz. Look at that, nice, clean, no problems whatsoever for Mickey. Did what he needed to do. Duncan just a little too much horsepower. Tried pedaling the car, but it was to no avail. And so the Barco Tools gang from Sweden will be racing against this man, Noah Stutz. You can't imagine what this must feel like for him. His first ever season in top fuel, still only a young guy. That's the team owner, Urs Erbacher, with the biggest grin. I think Noah's happy, the team's happy, all of his sponsors are very happy indeed as well, and you can see Noah looks very emotional. He's still got to do it again and try and win the race. The team get to work on the car, stripping the engine down, turning it around. That's his dad and his mum giving him a big hug, and I think he's about to get one off Louise.
Noah, your first final, well done. You must be over the moon. You're clearly very emotional about it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's great. It's Urs in the first round, Thomas Natas in the second. I think one of the 2 hardest guys in the drag race business in Europe. Just unbelievable happy. I can't believe that this happened, and now I want to get this trophy to Switzerland.
Okay, so what is the game plan for the final?
All in, all in.
All in. How much of this is down to the team?
Everything. It's the team sport. Drag race is a team sport. You see how they work now. All the guys are here. The guys from Ors's car work on my car now. That's how it should work, and just happy to be here. Happy that's my last race and I can do it like this, so hopefully I can get this win.
Great stuff. Get that trophy.
Thank you.
Well done. It's Sunday afternoon here in Germany. The grandstands are filling up behind me. The finals are just about to get underway. Bring it on.
So this is the big moment of the weekend for all of the teams. And this is our Pro Stock bike final here in Germany. Can Karl-Heinz Weikum take home the big trophy, but he's got a very, very big ask. The man that set low ET the weekend, defending European champion Fredrik Friedland, he's been on a rail so far this weekend. But Karl-Heinz Weikum does actually have the horsepower in the bike. They just need to find the right setup for it. Well, bad news for Karl-Heinz. Fredrik is already in the lead by the time they go past the Christmas tree, and stretches it out for a win, 7:20 to 7.27. We see it again in replay. Yeah, you can clearly see by about 300 foot out, Fredrik does have the lead.
Well done, Freddie. Massive congratulations. Not really surprised to see you here, though.
Well, thank you so much. We have a successful weekend once again, but we had some problem with the track, but we sorted out and went consistent all race. So I think that is the main key.
Do you really need to go to Santa Pod, or have you already won the championship?
I really don't know. They were counting in the pit, and I think if we don't go, I think Gert-Jan Lasser needs to make a European ET record, and then he can win the championship. But we will go, of course.
Yeah.
We're supporting this championship.
So in the lead by a bunch is Fredrik over Gert-Jan Lasser and Karl-Heinz Weikum. Super Twin final, and unfortunately again it's going to be a bye run. Roman Sixter broke the bike in that semi-final run. It will be Samu taking home the NitrOlympx win. Tries to see what the racetrack can take, and the answer is not as much as he was going to give it. But the good news for him is that he's going to take the points lead by a bunch after this weekend. He's in the lead, 176. Christian number 2. It's going to make such an exciting final round at Santa Pod. In top fuel bike, can Fast Phil from Greece in the far lane with the funny bike take his first ever FIM win here this weekend in Germany? It's a very, very big ask, though. Up against Ian King, set low ET of the weekend, one of the fastest speeds ever in the world in qualifying, and regularly in the mid-230s as well. The Gold Foil bike has been on a rail throughout the whole weekend. He's just got one more run to make it all stick and leave with a huge points lead. He's quite a way out in front at the moment. It would be a big shock if he lost this one, but stranger things have been known to happen. Well, so far it doesn't look good from the guy from Greece. Ian King hanging off the side of the bike once again. No mistake whatsoever. Takes the event win, takes the points lead by an absolute bunch. Another 6-second win in the final.
Ian, you didn't get the record that you were hoping for, but you did get the win. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was quite tricky, and we're disappointed not to get the record, but hopefully at Santa Pod we'll be able to repeat better.
Championship's going pretty well for you, really, is it?
I think so. I think now with that win, I'm sure we're unbeatable now. So yeah, it's nice to go in more relaxed and have fun in the final without all the stress of worrying about championships.
Well, you can see he's got the lead by a bunch over Rikard Gustafsson and Phil Papaphilippou. Time for FIA Pro Mod, one of the toughest classes in all of drag racing. The 16-car field is going to be outlasted by one of these two. Near Lane, can he get it done? This is his third ever FIA final round. First one that's not at Santa Pod, coincidentally. David Venter, the MPM team, crew chief Dick Costa, and all of those guys worked so hard this weekend. They had all sorts of electrical problems in qualifying. They got it fixed, got it done, got qualified, and now they line up in the final against the defending event champion, Matthias Volken. Matthias and the team have done a great job here on race day. They haven't been the quickest, but they've been consistent, and they've taken the win lights where they needed to. That's Dick Costa giving David a bit of a G up, says go get them in this final round. Obviously, this racetrack is the closest to them from their home base in the Netherlands, and they've got a lot of friends, family here this weekend cheering them on. But Matthias Volken's crew chief doing a lot of cheering him on, just getting him set to go. He's in the points lead. He will leave by a bunch as well. Well, big shake off the line for David Venter. He's out of it and over the centre line as well. Matthias Volken has engine problems and just cruises through, but that will be the happiest man just cruising through. David actually doing a bit of drafting there The crew looking a little bit mystified to see what happened. But you can see it again in replay. David's car comes off the line and steps immediately right, which he does the right thing and gets off the throttle. Matthias then had problems. It looks a lot more violent from that top-end shot. So Matthias Vulcan, your winner at the NitrOlympx, again repeats from last season.
Well done, Matthias.
Thank you very much.
2 in a row for you now.
Yeah, it's a really great year for us, and we have struggled a bit this weekend, but it turned out the best way. It's the best way that we could hope for.
Talk us through the final.
Yeah, it was great. We tried to go a little bit faster, but we didn't do that. But we still did a win, so that's the important thing.
And can you make it 3 in a row?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to win a Tierp. It's our home track, but we love Germany. We won here last year too, so it's 2 in a row here. So
tell us why you're doing so well.
It's it's the magic man over there, my crew chief, who's been with me a lot of years.
So the magic man indeed, Matthias in the lead by a bunch from Roger and Mickey G. Well, the first of our top methanol finals, and it is funny cars coming up first. It's an all-Swedish affair. Low ET of the weekend belongs to that man in the DSAB Monte Carlo. That's Leif Andreasson. How can you tell he's Swedish? That roof hatch probably gives it away a little bit. He's up against one of the toughest customers in all of drag racing. The Lindberg family. It's Johan Lindberg doing the steering and his brother Johnny doing the tuning. Johnny taking a weekend off from driving the car in the States. He will be back out there for the US Nationals in just a few weeks' time. But now the most important thing is getting his brother down the right-hand lane here at Hockenheim and taking the event win. He's actually another one that's a defending event champion from 1 year ago. Won his first race in a funny car just 12 short months ago. That's his brother Johnny there, guiding him into stage. Everyone's ready. Johnny says, go get them, brother. So they pull into stage, bring the revs up. If it goes to plan, it could be a side-by-side 5.8-second run. But anything can happen. This is for all the money. Oh, they both spin the tyres. Leif Andreasson gets out of shape a little bit more than Johan Lindberg. Johan recovers first and gets over the finish line out in front. That was actually a really, really good race for the crowd. The two teams a little disappointed, I'm sure, with the elapsed times, but not with the race. Look at that. Both on and off the throttle, all over the place. Leif Andreasson did a really excellent job, an expert job of pedaling the car, but it wasn't enough. Look at that onboard, completely sideways with his foot still in it. Johan moving out in front, just in his view. And if I know Leif as well as I do, he's in the shutdown area saying damn and blast very loudly after that one.
Congratulations. Yeah, how brilliant.
Thank
how
you.
was the race for you?
It was pretty slippery.
Yeah.
The track this weekend has not been so good, but the team managed to get the car down pretty fast anyway, so this was a very team effort for this weekend.
Well, I think that could almost be a wrap for Johan Lindberg at the top of the tree there in Top Methanol Funny Car. The other Top Methanol class is the dragsters. We have one Top Methanol dragster in the shape of Peter Schöffer and the Bavarian Thunder team. And I bet the rest of the class is quite glad that he doesn't come racing as often as he used to. I think this might be a one-time appearance for him this season. And he's got all the way to the final. He was #1 qualifier for quite a long while until Dennis Haberman just beat him by about 100th of a second to that position. And on the other side of the racetrack, for Malta and for the A-Fuel gang, it is Chris Polidano. After that great win against Dennis in the semi, what has Jerry Durian and the Calanch team got up their sleeve for the final round? Well, we're about to find out. Now, traditionally, races between A-Fuel cars and supercharged methanol cars work out that the blown car gets out in front, like we saw in the semi against Dennis, and then the A-Fuel car comes on strong at the end of the racetrack. But this is the final. We've already seen in Top Methanol Funny Car that they both lost traction off the line. So there's always the temptation when it comes to the final round and, you know, you want to get the trophy, that you go for it just that little bit too much. But the experience of the German team in the near lane, can it pay off against Chris Polidano from Malta? Well, indeed, Peter Schurfer leaves the line first, but goes up in smoke, spins the tyres, does an expert job of pedaling the car. And by the time he's recovered, Chris is long gone in the distance. Well, we've already had one win for Malta this summer, but that was Manti Bugaya in Alastaro with the methanol car. This time round, it is Chris Polidano and the whole team going to be starting one of those world-famous Maltese celebration parties this evening. Your winner in TMD, Chris Polidano.
Big congratulations, Chris. You're looking very proud there with your Maltese flag.
Yes.
It's your second ever win in drag racing. How do you feel?
I'm very happy. I have a lot of problems in the weekend, but now the result is good.
How did you beat the favourite today?
I beat the Dennis with the reaction time. I'm very happy. I'm happy for all team. Thanks for Jerry Darian and for all my crew.
And thanks for the points lead as well. He's got a little way out in front of Manti Bugaya and Dennis Harperman. So the last final of the weekend, and it's the one everybody has come to see. FIA Top Fuel Dragster. We've got another one of those agent experience against youth and exuberance matchups this time round. For Barco Tools, Bill Sport, System Enstrom and Sweden, it's Mickey Kagerad. Up against for Midland Oil, Formex and Switzerland and Team Urbacher, it's Noah Stutz. And Noah was obviously very excited after taking a first round win against the boss. Then he beat the defending European champion. Can he take out Mickey Kagerad in the final? Mickey Kagerad loves this racetrack, pretty much like Matthias Vulcan does in Pro Modified. He had his last win here way back in 2008. And it's great to see Mickey back on form and back in another final. The team purchased a new car over the winter, and they've really got a handle on it pretty quickly. But Noah Stutz, can he hold it together for one more run? It's nervous enough when you're a rookie in a top fuel car trying to keep everything together, but when you're in the final at one of the biggest races of the season, in front of all your friends, family, sponsors, and just about everybody that you went to school with or college with, that's Noah, not Mickey, by the way. So, who's going to take the win? Dead even off the start line. There's still even all the way down the track. Mickey goes up in flames, and Noah pitches the blower belt, the first one over the line. Heartbreaking for Noah Stutz and the Urbacher team is Mickey Kagerad. You can see them dead even all the way down. Mickey with a big ball of flame out the back of the car just at that point as well. Noah's car pitched the blower belt off. You can see it dropping cylinders. There goes the belt and there goes the engine in Mickey's car.
So Mickey, you're the winner. Well done. How do you feel?
No, I'm feeling really good, of course, and this German track is my favorite track. I have won a lot of races here, and I think I have been in the final for 4 years now. And I love the track.
We saw Noah congratulate you at the end of the track.
Yeah.
Is it sort of bittersweet to beat him?
I haven't raced him before, so and I think he's the last race he's doing here in Europe. But no, it's good to win the race.
FIA Top Fuel is by far the closest of all the classes, only one round between the top four.
So this, unfortunately, is the part of racing that not many people see. They're all packing up behind us to go home. It's sad to see. It was a brilliant weekend, wasn't it, Darren?
It certainly was. All the teams packing up, going home are very, very happy indeed. In Top Fuel, Mickey Kagerad won for the first time in many, many years. Noah Stutz nearly got it done in the final. Johan Lindberg with another win over a great tyre-smoking race with Leif Andreas, and also Chris Polidano won it for the A-Fuel gang in Top Methanol Dragster as well. Onto the bikes, Ian King, another win. I mean, what more can we say about that man? Just almost unstoppable. Same for Frederick Friedland as well. So all in all, it's just been a great weekend here in Germany.
It has indeed. But we now turn our attention to Santa Pod, which is in September, so we're really looking forward to see you there.